is the Rebel Scum podcast. Available in video on YouTube and audio wherever you listen to your podcasts. Every week, Brock and James talk the latest rumors, news, and theories from a galaxy far, far away. For exclusive offers and join the Star Wars discussion. Patreon.com/Rebel Scum Podcast. Here are your hosts, Brock and James.
You're always scum. Rebel Scum.
Oh, Rebel Scum. We're back again, twice in 1 week. I'm Brock. This is...
Also, Brock. James. I'm James. You know, that joke won't ever get old.
Yeah, you know it.
Ever. It's never going to get old.
Never, ever.
It's been a while, man. Been a long while.
Been a while.
Who sings that song?
Stained.
We should go back to 20 some odd years ago. Yeah, we just did this a couple days ago. We're back. Look, the one we did on Monday doesn't count for this week. It was last week's episode. We got some cool stuff coming now. Like Star Wars news is dropping. Bad Batch started today. And, so Acolyte release date announced-ish. I think unofficially announced, but whatever. It's official. Did you watch Bad Batch yet?
Yeah, I did.
I haven't seen it yet. What are your thoughts on the Batch of the Bads?
It's good. I actually was like, it's typical Filoni where it's like it starts getting good right near the end. The episodes were solid, and it's just like, you forget that like this is kind of a dreary topic because it's sort of like what happens when the clone soldiers they created for war are now obsolete, and it's just like this 3 episodes really pushes that idea. So solid. And I watched it for the first time on my new 4K TV, and I'm like, oh wow, this looks way better than my old TV. I'm like, so
you gotta watch on your 8K next. You gotta move up to the 8K. I saw something on an 8K monitor the other day, and I'm like, I don't know if I could handle that because you notice every mistake, like every little like wrong detail. You're like, there's dirt on that lens. You just can't get enough of it. That's awesome. I haven't seen it yet, obviously. I will. I'll get on that train at some point. But Brock, I thought before we get into our topics for the day, we do a little blind rankings. Get this out of the way right away. Boom, 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 Brock. My blind rankings for you today are Troopers. We're going to go Troopers. Right into Troopers. You're going to blind rank your favorite Troopers 1 through 5. I'm going to give you the name. You're going to tell me where on the list you think it should go, 1 to 5. There are no right answers. All right, first one out of the gate is Scout Trooper, the old Scout Trooper.
I'm going to put it up at 4.
4, that's pretty low. I thought you'd be higher on the Scout. The next one on the list is the trusty Snow Trooper.
Ooh. I'm going to go 3.
3 for the Snow Trooper. I should go Raylo Trooper next. Next we have the Shore Trooper, the old Shore Trooper.
It is pretty nice. No, I'm going to play safe and put that at 5.
5 for the Shore. Shock Trooper.
Which one's Shock Trooper?
Got the red on him.
Okay. I'll be crazy and put it at 1.
Wow, Shock Trooper 1. I like that the one you didn't know what it was is your number 1.
Yeah.
And your final one at number 2 is the Flame Trooper. Flame Trooper.
Oh, okay. number 2 then.
There you go. Shock Trooper, Flame Trooper, Snow Trooper, Scout Trooper, Shore Trooper. Thoughts, Brock? Are you devastated at your answers?
No, because it's like, I'm just looking up Shock Trooper so I can remember exactly what it looks like. But it's like Shock Trooper and Fire Trooper, or sorry, what's the Flamethrower Troopers? Like, don't they both have red? It's like, oh, they have red.
Yeah,
So,
but one
yeah.
shocked, one flames.
Yeah. No, I'm good with both with those. They're red.
They are definitely red. All right, let's get on to our topics. Let's get to all of it. That was fun. It's always fun just to see where you're going to throw things, and it's just whatever. Let's talk about the good stuff right now. Mando and Grogu. The budget for the Mando and Grogu movie has been, I don't know if it's been official, but apparently it's coming out. Have you seen this price tag on this thing yet?
No.
$120 million, which is making it cheaper than the shows at this point. It's 120 minutes, pretty modest for a Star Wars movie. But I think the thing is, though, if this is accurate and is $120 million, Brock, it basically doesn't have to. It can do solo money. The movie Solo, Star Wars took money and be successful at that price tag. And it's going to be Favreau directing it, and I think he has the ability to do these things on the cheap. I think he knows how to do them on the cheap. For me, it doesn't really. The budget doesn't really matter because we bring this up. We'll bring it up later in the show. But the creator cost $80 million, and that thing looked spectacular. So, like, if you can figure out what you're doing, and I mean, I guess the fear though would be for $120 million, will it have the look of the TV show? Are they going to utilize the volume a little bit too much into it? Because people are starting to notice it a lot more and complain about it. That, I guess, would be the only fear, is to cut down on the costs. You'd have to cut down on locations, and to do that, you'd use more of the volume / blue green screen.
I don't know, like, 'cause it's like, yeah, you can sort of, when they're using the volume, when they're not. But, like, there's so many times where I'm like, oh, that looks cool. And then I'm like, 3 days later, I'm like, oh, right, that was probably in the volume. So it's like, it does a decent job of tricking you. How much is, like, a typical episode of Mandalorian? Do you actually have that number?
I could find it. I know the first season was cheaper, I think, because I think it was $10 million an episode for the first season.
Right.
But series budgets. How about this? Because Andor was $250 million, I believe.
Okay.
For the season, it was just 12 episodes. Which is, look, Andor was phenomenal, probably the best that we've got. But that is a ridiculously high number for a streaming series that really can't turn you a profit. Like it's. I don't think, like, financially, I don't think your business can survive on spending $250 million, because I don't know if people were I don't know if subscriptions went up for Andor. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think people are like, we gotta watch Andor. And again, I think it was great, but I don't know if it was that kind of series.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know. It's interesting. And like $250 million for 12 episodes.
Yeah.
That's pretty high, but when you think of, like, it was all in practical locations and they had to build things, it's like, it kind of makes sense.
I do agree with that. I just think for a series that's... Oh, so sorry not to cut you off, but Mando was $15 million an episode, which comes to, for 8 episodes, $120 million for 8 episodes of the Mando.
So maybe, like, they're banking on, well, we made this look good in 8 episodes, like, which could roughly, with the right format, be turned into a 2-hour movie. So maybe it can work. Like, it's like we have no idea what it's going to be about outside of the 2 characters. So it's like, maybe they're in space constantly. If they're in space constantly, then they're in that little cockpit, Actually, now that I think about it, it's like, I bet they blew up his original... what was his original ship called?
The Razor Crest?
Razor Crest. I was like, Iron Claw. I'm like, that's not it. Razor Crest, it's like, that must have been a huge save on their budget, because, like, typically they're just in a little cockpit, and usually it's on a green screen, or they're in hyperspace on another green screen. It's like, oh man, they must have saved so much money when doing that. green screen. I should just say the volume. I'm fully optimistic that budget can deliver something good. But again, it's like, are we getting one more season before this comes out? And
I don't think so.
Right. So we're just, it is what it is. So it's like, maybe we should just be thankful they're making a Star Wars movie. So I don't know.
I don't know if you remember, but like a year ago, probably around a year ago, maybe. Well, I guess less, because sometime after season 3, there was a rumor that Mando season 4 was going to be turned into a movie. They were going to take the scripts that were written and turn it. Maybe this is after the strike. Anyway, at some point, they said they were going to take the scripts that were written and turn it into a movie. With this budget lining up with exactly what a season would cost, it almost feels like it's lining up for that to be the case. That whatever season 4 was, they decided to turn into a movie. My guess is on this one is because season 1, like I always said, season 1 and 2 kind of felt like the story of Din and Grogu kind of ended there, right? And then season 3, we're getting a different story, but that story also ends. Like season 3 is a pretty definitive ending for a lot of things, with the exception of that part where Mando goes, and I think he's with Carson Teva and Zeb, and he's like, "Hey, they're basically back to being bounty hunters / rangers of the New Republic kind of way, where they're going to go around the galaxy and look for criminals or whatever." So it seems like this movie could very well be a fresh start and be very isolated from everything that we've already had. Like, you don't need to bring in a Bo-Katan. You don't need to bring in Axe Wolves and like all these characters that we've met. I think Jack Black needs to return. I think that character is I mean, but you know what I mean? Like, I think it could be so separate, but also, these characters, so it could feel like a continuation, and it could be this one big, isolated, grand adventure that maybe, I don't know what the stakes would be in it, but it could just be a lot of fun. I think it could be like Rogue One-esque fun, where it's kind of like the side story to the story that you love, but it's what it is.
the fun story where everyone dies at the end.
Yeah!
Yeah, no, I mean, I don't think you can go wrong one way or another, because it's just like, have the same creative team, have the same actors, and can puppet and go. Like, yeah, it's a no-brainer. It's like, I mean, you could honestly just make it a clip show and we'll be like, oh! So I think it's going to do well no matter what. Yeah, I'm looking forward.
1 and 2 as a movie, and people would go see it and love it.
Exactly. So it's just like, this could be like the first time. I was gonna say this could be the first time there's a Star Wars movie that doesn't tie in with something that precedes it, but it technically does. But now it's a show, not another movie, right?
Yeah,
so,
it'll be curious how they handle that.
Yeah,
it will be, because I see a lot of people like complain about, I think mostly Marvel's like, oh, I gotta watch this show now to understand this movie. Except I haven't seen that complaint about Deadpool yet. But like, are people going to feel that way about this? That like, I don't want to watch that. But I also think that people that want to watch this movie have watched. Like, people that want to watch Star Wars are a different breed from Marvel too. Because I think Marvel got a lot more casual moviegoers, whereas Star Wars is like, I mean, don't get me wrong, Star Wars got a lot of casuals. Let's say make $1 billion at the box office. But I think like people like Baby Yoda was such a cultural phenomenon that I think Disney is really banking on that. Like, Disney is saying, we need a Star Wars hit. Baby Yoda can deliver that.
Yeah, exactly. So it's just like, it's, like when there's so many new projects coming out, and it's just like, oh, we have 4 different actors, and one of them is Pedro Pascal, and he acts and everything. But it's just like, they can sell. People will be like, that guy. It's like, so, yeah.
That's interesting. I wonder if Pedro Pascal, by the way, is confirmed to be the voice of the Mandalorian in the movie. There was a lot of debate over whether or not he'd be returning for that. But I wonder if he can sell, because he's never headlined a movie. He hasn't headlined a movie yet. We're going to find out, I guess, because I think he's going to be in like every movie that comes out for the next 10 years. By the way, I think he's going to be a decent Reed Richards. I just think that he's in everything, and they probably could have cast David Krumholtz, who, by the way, wanted to play the Thing in Fantastic Four. And he's also phenomenal in Oppenheimer, by the way. I have to add that. David Krumholtz. Let's move on. Talking about budgets. Small budgets. Jurassic Park's coming back, Brock. You excited for a new Jurassic Park movie?
I mean, yes, because there's so many things that none of the 9 other movies didn't say about. Is it
Did
good?
you watch? Did
The
you watch
last one?
the World movies? Any of the last three?
I didn't watch the second one, but I watched the first and the third, and it's just like, yeah, this is fine. But it's just like the third really hammers the idea of like this is kind of ridiculous that dinosaurs keep getting out, but
yeah, the second one is definitely. I don't know. The second one's really bad. The third one's not much better. But they're going to make another one, and so they announced today. I don't know. Gareth Edwards has been hired to direct the new Jurassic Park World movie, which is super smart because they need a movie to come out in like June next year. Because I don't know why they have to have it out like immediately.
yeah.
But Gareth Edwards, I was like, that actually makes a lot of sense because he did Godzilla, and Godzilla crushed it at the box office. He did Rogue One, Rogue One crushed at the box office, and he did The Creator, which didn't crush at the box office, but was critically acclaimed, and he did it on a very, 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 what we said earlier, tight budget, like a very small budget, and he made it look beautiful. Like that thing looks great. And so for me, I thought it was a smart move because they needed. Apparently, they were having trouble finding a director because they needed to come out so fast that there wasn't time to make any changes to the script. Basically, it's like what you see is what you get. And Gareth Edwards, because we don't know what went down on Rogue One, right? Like he directed Rogue One, but did he direct Rogue One? We don't know what impact he had on it or not. But so that's why I think he's actually perfect for this. The movie might be terrible, but I think the one thing we're guaranteed is that it's going to look great.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, Jurassic Park, you want those dinosaurs to look real. It doesn't we're not really worried too much about story, I don't think, so.
No,
but,
definitely prove that.
Yeah, and it's just like, do we need another Jurassic Park movie, or is Godzilla doing so well that they're like, people love monsters, let's make more monster movies, which, granted, dinosaurs are real, but they're still massive creatures that destroy everything. So
that's a good point. I wonder, because they look at the Fast and Furious franchises, they've got one left, and the last one didn't do too hot. And Universal, I don't know what else Universal even has at the moment. I'm probably overlooked. Oh, Mission Impossible. No, that's Paramount. I don't know what they have right now. So they're looking at the next franchise, and their next franchise is their old 30-year-old franchise. Why not revive it? I don't know what you do with it, and I'm gonna watch it. I love watching the dinosaurs do stuff. I hope they focus a little bit more on dinosaurs and we get a little more dinosaur action than we got. But I don't know. And they got David Koepp writing it, who wrote the very first Jurassic Park movie and also wrote the first Spider-Man movie. So he also did that movie with he wrote and directed that movie with Joseph Gordon-Levitt where he played the bike ride, the bicyclist. What was that one called? Premium Rush. Yeah, that was all right. Michael Shannon. Remember Michael Shannon? He's still kind of everywhere. Yeah, so I don't know. I just think it's cool. I also like that Jurassic Park is staying in the Star Wars family because George Lucas had and Kathleen Kennedy had a big deal to do with the first Jurassic Park. Not that Gareth Edwards in the Star Wars family anymore. I think whatever happened at the end of Rogue One, I think he was said, "Thank you. Here's your paycheck. Don't look back."
I'm gonna go write my own sci-fi movie now. Bye. Or did he write Creator? I don't even know.
Yeah, he co-wrote it with what's his face that directed American Pie, who also was a writer on the original. I think he was the final. What the hell's his name? He was the final writer on Rogue One as well. So it was like Gary Whitta, and then what is his name? He was a co-director on American Pie. That's what he started. No, not Goyer. Goyer is Dark Knight.
Oh, Justice League. Yeah.
Blade was a good.
Blade.
Blade 2 is great. Come on, Blade Trinity. Goyer directed Blade Trinity. Anyway, not a great one. But yeah, no, what the hell's his name? I'm gonna Google it because I can't think of it. But yeah, he co-wrote it with him. So I really like the Creator. I just thought it kind of lost its way towards the end. I thought that's all. It just kept going. I was like, stop! You were fine. writer. Let me go right. Yeah, he co-wrote it with Chris Weitz. His credits include About a Boy. About a Boy is great. American Pie.
Yeah.
About a Boy. About a Boy is one of those ones that's based on a book, and they're like it's just as good as the book. And then the ending of the movie and the ending of the book like part ways and go in two separate directions, and they're both fantastic.
That's good. I've seen the book in bookstores. I'm like, oh, and I've never seen the movie, so I'm just like, oh yeah, because the person that wrote another book that's another movie. I can't remember what.
Oh man, he's done a lot. He's one of my favorite writers. He did High Fidelity.
That's it.
Fever
High
Pitch.
Fidelity.
Yeah, High Fidelity, Fever Pitch. Juliet Naked is a great book. Great movie too. Juliet Naked, highly recommend watching Juliet. There's no nudity in it. That's just the name of a unplugged like a album. For everybody wondering about it. And About a Boy also stars Hugh Grant and Nicholas Hoult, everyone's favorite Lex Luthor. When I saw that movie 24 years ago, I said that kid will be Lex Luthor one day. That's what I said when I did it. All right, you want to go to the odds?
Let's do it.
Hold on, we can't do it until I cue this up.
Probability of successfully navigating an asteroid field is approximately 3,720 to 1.
Never tell me the odds.
Never tell me the odds. Brought to you, me, and everyone by patreon.com/rebelscumpodcast. If you like what we do, why don't you head over to patreon.com and support us in any way you can. We got extra stuff up there. We'll sell you Andrew's train collection. I don't know. Just put in that money. We will get you that extra juicy Rebel Scum podcast that you're always chomping at the bit for. And those people that love what we do are the following: Heidi Feder, executive producer; Barry Brophy, Dennis Allen, Mary Kristen Aton. Let's move this closer so I can actually read it. Dale Erdman, Jeff Wilson, Phil Staniforth, Rez, Scott D, Josh Price,
Randy Kenobi, Matt W, Frank Perkins, Neil Lowry, Cosmic Girl 02, Gleek Play 1, Den and Nerds, Disney Desi, Charlotte, Ron Prasak. Let's go. Thank you very much, everybody.
Yeah, thank you to all. We appreciate all the love you give us.
My mouse just stuck because I think the battery's dying, and I almost hit end stream. So you are all very welcome. All right, Never Tell Me the Odds, brought to you by Patreon. Thank you for your support. Cal Kestis, Never Tell Me the Odds. Cal Kestis will appear in live action sooner than later. I'm pretty sure it's coming up in the news. I don't know if I'm right or not about the actor portraying him. But do you think the ball has been set into motion that we will see Cal Kestis in live action soon?
I don't see why not. Why they wouldn't do it. Like, it's a successful game, and Cameron Monaghan is a decent actor, and I know he goes all in on this. I don't know if they're paying him to be like, oh, make sure you're endorsing this as well, but he seems legit, so why would you ever put Star Wars down? So I want to say 60%, because I think it's a no-brainer, but at the same note, like, I don't know if anyone's even remotely in the movie division thinking about doing that.
For sure. I don't know how, you're playing in that time period. Like, I haven't played Survivor, and I'm guessing he doesn't die in Survivor at all. I mean, I'm guessing if I played Survivor, he would die, but I'm guessing in the storyline, he doesn't. So I don't know. You're playing in that time period anyway. You have an actor portraying him who is only getting older. Just do it. Like, that's like, you want to win fans back. Fans seem to be really enjoying this character. Why not?
Yeah.
Why not utilize that and bring Cal Kestis into live action, into some kind of show? I think it's no brainer. I'm going to go 61% because it's a no brainer, but it probably won't. Honestly, realistically, it probably will never happen. It's too obvious.
It's also, I also would say, like, it's crazy, but then they're making a Borderlands movie. Like, the trailer came out yesterday, and it's just like, I mean, I get it. It's a very popular video game, but, like, you're making a movie, and then also you have, like, Cate Blanchett, what's her face from True Lies.
Jamie Lee Curtis.
Jamie Lee Curtis, Kevin Hart,
That True
Jack
Lies
Black.
is your.
It's
Well,
like
True Lies is your
check,
Jamie Lee
check,
Curtis.
check. Like I
Yeah.
was just like, wow, like that's wild. So maybe Hollywood wants to be in video game movies. I don't know.
It makes sense. Video games is such a massive
Yeah.
business, right? It's bigger than movies, but Hollywood for some reason looks down. They've always looked down on video games, especially when you look at old video game movies based on video games from the past. They've all been kind of like shoddy and no one's really cared. But then you look at Mario Brothers making $1 billion and Mortal Kombat. The new one did. I mean, it was out in the theater and on Max on the same day, kind of like Dune, but it did very well for being in that situation. So I think they're looking at video game movies saying there's an audience. And I don't know, the Halo show, they did a second season, so I'm guessing people got Paramount Plus to watch that show. I think they're seeing, like, if you put in care and money, people, the fans of these games, which are millions and millions of them, are going to millions of them are going to show up, and they're gonna watch these movies. I haven't seen the Borderlands trailer. I saw the poster on the teaser that they gave, like the tomorrow trailer, and I've never played the game. I don't know anything about it, but I was like, it looks like it doesn't look. It looks like a video game, but not like the '90s version, like not like Street Fighter. It looks like it looks solid. Like it looks like a lot of care and effort went into it. Yeah. Next on. Moff Gideon will return in the Mando movie.
It would be no. You know what? No, the guy grew up. So I'm gonna say 25%. No disrespect to Giancarlo Esposito.
Well, his character died. But then, of course, did he die? Is there a clone? Who knows? So I'm gonna go full Brock on this one. Because I don't know. Like, I don't know what the story is, and I don't think I don't know. I don't know what the story is, and I don't know if he's meant to be a bigger bad guy. If Thrawn's meant to be a bad guy in this world, I don't know what the play, because he mentions Thrawn, and is that the same Moff Gideon that mentioned Thrawn that we say die at the end of the episode, right? Or is it a clone of him? Because we don't know. So I'm gonna go full Brock, because I kind of with you where I'm like, let him be gone. But at the same time, I don't know what their plan is. And if it works, if he comes back and it works, I'll be okay with it, as long as the explanation isn't the pathway to the dark side is. And our final the Acolyte trailer coming on Good Friday. Rumor has it that the release date has been set, so are we going to get this trailer on Good Friday? Because I think May 4th is cutting a little tight for it, but it would make a lot of sense. But Good Friday, which is March 29th, I believe, Brock.
What was this announced date for Acolyte?
June 5.
Really June 5?
June 5. I didn't know if it was in your news or not, so I didn't want to I didn't want to spoil. Okay, good. Yeah, it's June 5th.
Oh, okay. Good Friday. That's such an interesting, but it makes sense. I get why you chose that one. I'm like, I was like, is there football on Good Friday? It's like, no, football's been over for almost a month.
Well, last year, Good Friday. Last year, just for perspective, was Star Wars Celebration, and they announced the 3 movies, and a whole bunch of other announcements. Now this year, there's no celebration on that day.
Yeah.
However, it is a holiday for most. People are off of work.
I'm gonna go 40%. I don't know. I think you're in the right mindset. Like, it's got to be some specific day. I don't know. Good Friday is the day, but I'm like, it's got to be soon.
Yeah, that's the thing. I think May 4th is too close to. If it is the 5th, it's too close to the 5th for the first trip. That'd be really cool. I'm okay with that because we're watching. You and I are watching that movie. Like, we're fine with that. But I think, seems first. Yeah, Good Friday, because there's no celebration. It seems like just a random one. It is a holiday. This Force Awakens teaser was Black Friday. Just trying to stay on that wavelength. But I'm gonna go 39.2% because I don't see that happening.
The question is do marketing groups still care about that. You know what I mean? I know there is, because, Super Bowl commercials are still a thing, and, like, there is a relevance to dropping during certain TV viewing times, but it's just like, I mean, if you give enough marketing campaign and get people hyped, like, I took a second and looked for the Borderlands trailer today because I saw a thing like tomorrow, right? So it's just like you just create the day. So it's like,
oh yeah,
you know what I mean? Like it's,
yeah. But I think they can do that. But if they can piggyback on something else, that's it. Because football, the Minions or whatever Despicable Me trailer dropped. I think 2 weeks before the Super Bowl, and that whatever game that was. I didn't watch it on the American stage. So whatever game that was, they debuted it then because you want the audience. And there's no sport like baseball starting up, but it's not like the home opener, like the season opener isn't like a big deal in baseball. I mean, it's a big deal based on each city, but like everybody's not sitting down to watch the exact same game.
Yeah.
Whereas like a football season opener, you can. It's on a Thursday. There's one game. People will sit down and watch that. Baseball is very different, where it's kind of scattered. Everybody's playing. So as much as it is a big deal, it's not a big television for one game. So yeah, I don't know, but other than that, it's just Good Friday, which is very different. But if they wanted, they could be like tomorrow, like Thursday, they'll be like tomorrow, and then Friday morning they play.
Yeah,
but Friday's also a random day for a trailer drop as well. But they did that for Black Friday, right? So I don't know what their plan is, and that would give you 2 months before, just about 2 months before, which is fine time for it. And then it doesn't also take away from Bad Batch, which is the other thing. It can't come out because it would come out on a Wednesday, but then you're taking away from the Bad Batch release that week. So when do you do it? If you do it. Or maybe you just do it in front of a Bad Batch episode one day and not tell anyone. And when they put on Bad Batch, it's the Acolyte trailer. Like, what just happened? But again, that might ruin the Bad Batch. Who knows?
I don't know.
News?
Yeah, let's do it.
Hollow news. Hollow. No, wrong button. Hollow news. Hollow. Okay, I'm like.
Hollow news you need to know right now. Star Wars Battlefront Classic Collection has been announced as part of February 21st in 2024, the year of our Lord, Nintendo Direct Partner Showcase. The collection will include both of Pandemic Studios' 2000 Star Wars Battlefront games, remastered by Aspyr, the studio behind many previous Star Wars remasters ports such as Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic. While EA's most recent Star Wars Battlefront reboot had a fair amount of controversy, the original titles were extremely well received upon their release. The series saw players engage in huge battles between the major factions within the Star Wars universe and covered iconic moments from the original and prequel trilogies. The Classic Collection will be released March 14th, 2024. Collection is intended to celebrate the 20th anniversary of the Battlefront series, and you gotta check it out. Those two games, I love those games. Despite being announced during the... let's ignore that. Publisher DK has 2 new books this year that look to offer new knowledge about the Star Wars universe. The 2 books are Star Wars The Rise and Fall of the Galactic Empire and Star Wars Encyclopedia. The first book, Star Wars The Rise and Fall of the Galactic Empire, is an academic-style book authored by Chris Kemshall, who also wrote Star Wars Battles That Change the Galaxy and the History and Politics of Star Wars. Dr. Chris Kemshall is a historian focusing on the First World War and provides his historical expertise to the world of Star Wars. It is slated to release on July 9th of this year. The second book, as mentioned, is Star Wars Encyclopedia, the definitive guide to the Star Wars galaxy. News source says there is about 400 pages long and will be released September 17th of this year. There is no cover art as of yet, but I'm sure it will come like. And this is a PS to a story we did a couple weeks ago about a script that Harrison Ford left in London after shooting the original Star Wars. That it went on auction, and the final sale of this script, what was at that point still titled Adventures of Luke Skywalker, or Luke Starkiller, which is hugely a collector's item. It sold at an auction for £10,796, or in US dollars, that's $13,700. $631. That's crazy. It was expected to go for about 8,000 to 12,000. So these people made their money for keeping some garbage, an old tenant left in their apartment. And that's pretty cool. And this has been your Hollow News.
You gonna get Battlefront on the Switch?
I might actually, because I really like the first two. I played the hell out of those on PS2. Yeah, PS2. Might be worth a stream of some sort. I don't know. I really love those games.
Yeah, I am too. But here's the thing with the Switch, man. The Switch needs more original games. I love the old stuff. Don't get me wrong. But it's like there's gonna be a Switch 2, and it has like 14 original. Although the PS5 is already on its way out apparently, and it has 7 games too. So this is the new thing. They're also redoing Epic Mickey on the Switch too, which is not Star Wars related, but
Mickey,
I love that.
wow.
I thought it was a fun game, man. I'm okay with that. Why not? Whatever. I've come to appreciate. All right, top 5.
Top 5.
Today's top 5 are. Oh, I lost my page, Brock. I lost it. Here we go. Top 5 because Battlefront is coming up. Battlefront maps. Top 5 Battlefront maps. Camino. I'm just gonna go Camino. Mine's just planet names. That's all.
Yeah.
Camino.
I was like racking my mind because I'm fairly certain the newer ones you can fly around in the X-wing. I think in the second one you can too, but like I feel like flying dog fighting in X-wing fighters or TIE fighters is like a big part of the newer ones, like Battlefront. What is the difference? Battlefront 1, 2?
1 doesn't have that. 2 has that 2 has that option.
2. Okay, so then I'm just gonna say one of those. I just remember 1 being like, playing in X-wing on it's like above Hoth, and I'm like, whoa, this is crazy. I'm pretty sure there's a lot of space ones too. So I'm just gonna throw that out there because I wasn't sure which game it was.
Mine are mostly based on like the 2 newer ones that everybody hates because Aaron and I like the original ones like you like when they were I love them, but the new ones, the Battlefront 1, the first one, it had survival mode, which solo wasn't fun, but Aaron and I played that for just hours. We would just try to survive, and the second one didn't have that mode, and that always ticked me off because it was just just sitting there like, come at me, stormtroopers, let's go. Number 4, Kashyyyk, because Kashyyyk, this should be higher on my list. Kashyyyk's a great planet for anything, like just the look of it, the feel of it, tree houses can't be beat. Well, it can't be beat. I have 3 higher than it on the list. So.
I think it's on multiple of the games, but the Death Star is really cool. I just can't remember. I'm going to just throw it in the newer version ones because I feel like that's a pretty prevalent one. I don't remember. Because I think the second one for PS2 is where they sort of like brought in the heroes, I think. Because I feel like the very, very first one was just like stormtroopers or droids. Yeah.
I remember I actually never played the second one until now it's been 8 years, but I wanted the PlayStation, I wanted Battlefront, and Rob came over to the apartment one day and brought his PlayStation 2 and Battlefront 2, and I was like, "What are you doing? I want to play the new one." And he had the new one. He's like, "No, you're gonna play the old one." And yeah, you're right. There was the heroes were in the second one. The first one was not. Good call. Nice. My number 3 is Naboo. I just like Naboo. And in Battlefront 2, I really like playing on Naboo. It's a lot of fun. There's multiple different maps, but I like the main city street map of Naboo.
Yeah, I picked almost I think the same one because I was like Naboo Theed, which I think is the street one.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So I remember that one. Like this one and my next one are like the beauty of these games make you appreciate these planets that you kind of only see for like maybe 2 seconds. Naboo's not a good example, but like it's just like look at this.
Kashyyyk, wow. Yeah. I didn't put Jakku on my list, but I really like the Jakku level and the new Battlefront one. There's a few different ones, and there's one that I really like. But my number 2 is Hoth. I got Hoth on my list. because it's cold.
Cold. They should have called it cold.
Cold.
My number 2 is Geonosis from the first one, because I remember playing that over and over again on the first game and being like, oh wow, and then like after that being like, oh, this is that planet. Like again, it's just like I didn't really you don't like clock Geonosis, even though they're there for quite a bit, but like you're just like the droid factory and the arena, but they're never like you see them fighting on like the plant, like the just a wide like the canyons for like maybe 5 minutes in that movie, but there's like there's that level, you're just there the entire time. So
yeah, it's a great level. My number 1, Endor.
Yeah, same.
Endor. Yeah. Anyone who's watched us or listened to us for any period of time should have known that Endor was coming in number 1.
Yeah. And like
anytime.
Any version of it, like it's just like if we got our first taste in the first couple, I think it's in the first one, I can't remember. But man, when the new Battlefronts came out for PS4 and Xbox One, I guess at that point. What's the Xbox One? Yeah, so it's just like, oh, it looked awesome. It was just more, and like, of course, like you just hear, if you got your volume up, you just hear like Ewoks running through the forest and talking and stuff. Like when depending on where you go, like it just stuff like that. You're like, I am in. Wasn't there a thing where you can hunt them or something in the newer?
That was a different game mode. Yeah, you could be. It was you were either an Ewok or a stormtrooper, and one hunted the other. I can't remember. One hunted the other. Yeah, it was survival mode. Pauline's here. Hi, Pauline.
What up?
I spelled hello wrong. Yeah, that was. But also, when you would play it on Endor, if you went up like to the huts, like up the stairs, like the ramps up.
Yeah.
Sometimes they would be like they would run and like hide in their little hut, like at the last minute. I can't. And they'd hide in there, which was always worth playing it just for that. Just for that alone was worth the watch.
What was the game with Iden Versio? What was that called?
That was 2. That was Battlefront 2.
That's Battlefront. I was gonna say I'm like Jakku. I remember from that, but yeah, that is Battlefront, isn't it? Yeah,
that's Battlefront 2. But that was like because the first Battlefront for like PlayStation and Pop 4 and I think it's a PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. The new Battlefront. People were like, "Well, I need a story mode." Like everybody wanted a story mode. They wanted a different game from Battlefront, I think. And then, so they added it, and it was short, but I thought it was fun. I liked Iden Versio. There's another character you could bring into live action if you wanted to, too. I mean, I know, if you play Battlefront 2, you know how our story ends, but there's a period in there that happened. Brock, there's a question for you in the chat.
I did. Did I bring that up on a past episode?
You did. You said, I'm seeing Argyle on Saturday.
Oh, cool.
I don't know if you I don't know because Monday, I don't know if you mentioned on the show, but you did see. Yeah, you want to give it. How about you give a 20-minute review on Argyle?
Argyle. It's my favorite type of fabric design. It's just all I talk about is sweaters. No, great movie. I mean, it's not life-changing, but if you liked The Kingsman, it's a solid movie. And if you like my wife's like, we're going to see this movie because of Henry Cavill. I'm like, cool. Sure, sounds great. I thought it was an enjoyable movie. I highly suggest watching it if it comes out on a streamer. Like, I think it's a worthwhile watch. It was nice to watch it in the movies. Yeah, highly suggest it. Pauline's from Brampton, right? Or she's in Canada.
Yeah.
I'll even give you the inside scoop, Pauline. You want to go to Mississauga, you want to go to Junction at Air Mills Town Center. Fantastic theaters. Let's do it. Oh, she saw it. Never mind.
Yeah. Did you like it, Pauline? We got it. I have to know. I will say one thing I'll say about Argyle that I find strange is it costs $200 million. It costs $200 million. Here's what I find is strange, Brock. Because 5 years ago, fine. But we live in a time now when people aren't going to go see these movies in the theater. Like, let's just be real here. Whether it could be the greatest movie, people aren't going much to see it. They spent $200 million on this movie. And then there's little old Madam Web sitting over there. That cost $80 million to make. Madam Web earned $50 million. Argyle has earned $70 million with 2 extra weeks or 3 extra weeks on hand of Madam Web. But everyone is obsessed with Madam Web failing and being a terrible disaster of a movie. It's doing financially okay compared to Argyle.
I swear Samuel L. Jackson worked one day, and they probably paid a lot because I think his scene is totally in Italy or France or whatever. I don't know. I mean, it could have been anywhere. Here, he just is on a farm. It could be anywhere.
Just everybody in the movie got paid $10 million, and that was
probably.
Everyone gets $10 million. I'll probably, because of what you saw, I'll probably check it. But I've never seen like the Kingsman or any of those. Kingsman. Well, I don't know. Yeah. I've never seen those movies. There's like 4 of them, right? 5, 6,
3.
Just 3. I've never seen. I've never seen one of those movies.
So
I saw Layer Cake though.
But knowing like what like that, Bryce Dallas Howard is directing and all that, I'm just the whole time I'm like, she's like, because she's the main character, right? So she's like, I'll do whatever I want. I was like, I don't need this. I have no idea what Bryce Dallas Howard's projects are coming up, but it's just like the second you become director and you're an actor, I'm like, I assume it's like, I call the shots on this, right? Because it's like, I don't need to be here. I have other ventures.
Pauline says she's picky. It was enjoyable, but some scenes dragged.
Okay, I think it's like 2 hours, which is like, why is that? Oh, all these have to be 2 hours.
Everything's got to be 2 hours. Oppenheimer's 3 hours. Killers of the Flower Moon is 3.5 hours.
Oh, I know, because Scorsese's just like, I am old, or my movies are long.
I'm like, I want to watch that movie, but I don't, like, it's going to take me probably 3 or 4 days. I watched, what did I watch? Don't Worry, Darling. It took me 3 days. I think that's only like 2 hours and 10 minutes. It took me 3 days to watch that movie. I actually liked it more than everybody else, apparently. Actually, no, you know what? I went on Letterboxd, and I think I liked it just as much as everybody that's saying. Because I think if you go in with like the baggage, like the behind the scenes baggage, I think that skewed a lot of people. It's not, look, there are things in it that I'm like, why did you make those choices? But it, like I said, it's fine. It's just it could also have been like 10 minutes shorter probably, but I wasn't nitpicking because it took me 3 days to watch it. So really, if it was 1 hour or 7 hours, it would have taken me 3 days anyway. Best of the world living. Oppenheimer took me 2 days, which was I was impressed that it took 2 days. Because the first day I felt like I watched it for 3 hours, and the second day I was like, oh, I've still got an hour to go.
I saw an ad for, I guess, Tenet's getting released for like a weekend in like original 70 millimeter. And it's like, it's just so funny. Like, if you drop that, I'm like, Tenet is not one of my favorite Nolan movies. I enjoyed it, but it's just like, it's like like Malibu Stacy. Now with a new hat, I'm like, I will go see it.
I know, I don't live near one of those theaters because I was talking to my friend Sheldon, who loves Tenet. He loves Tenet. Like, he likes it a lot. And I was like, I like it. I own it on digital. I think I got it for $7, and I hadn't seen it. So I was like, oh, yeah. And then when I saw it, I was like, oh, we got to go see this. I'm not going to because I don't live near. But I'm the same, though. It's like Malibu Stacy. I'm like, I've got to go see this in the IMAX. Like, this is how it was meant to be seen.
Yeah.
I don't know. I honestly don't know if that movie would make a difference on the big screen or not. Some movies, I do think long movies, though, like 3-hour movies, are better in the theater because you are stuck there. Whereas when you watch them at home, you kind of half pay attention, you half don't, and so that whatever it is. I want to go to the movie. I'm kind of psyching myself up to go see Madam Web now. I'm like at this point where I'm like, now I want it. At first I was like, I have no interest. Now I'm like, yeah, and I don't want to see it because everyone's saying it's bad. I just want to say it because I'm like, I'm like, yeah, you know what? I want to see it. Now that I know everything about it, I want to see it.
Yeah. That trailer came out. I'm like, because like when they announced the Madam Web, I'm like, get out of here. And then I watched the trailer. I'm like, all right, I'm in. So I would like to see it.
You're going to. You go to movies. Yeah,
that's right.
I don't. Something else is coming out this year that I want to watch. Oh, there's a lot of movies going. So of course there is. There's a ton of movies. Anyway, that's going to do it for this episode of the Rebels Scum podcast. 313 episodes long.
Wow.
We're on 7.5 solid years.
We're 20 away from triple threes. Wow.
All right,
Oh,
everyone. Thank you.
We never did our plan of like the episode 311 is all about the band 311. Damn.
I don't know if I know that band. Do I know that band?
Amber is the color of your energy. It's
Oh my
like
god.
white reggae. Anyways.
All right, everyone. Thanks. Anything else you want to say, Brock?
Go see Madam Web. Down with the haters, up with the skaters. He was a skater boy. Don't say see you later, boy.
You were always scum.
Rebel Scum!
Hey, scumbags, thanks for watching. Don't forget to give us a thumbs up on our video. As always, please subscribe to our YouTube channel, Rebel Scum Podcast, for all the latest videos.